without any fear, without any temptation and distraction, tells the devil one cannot live off of bread and wine alone, but off the Spirit of God. Now, as I said before, all of this doesn't matter, right? Because we need to focus on the essential meaning of Christ coming to this world. You should focus and really think deeply tonight of your deeds. Good deeds, bad deeds. Do you have more good deeds? Do you have more bad deeds? You should think about the way we live our life, the way we treat each other, the way we treat animals and such things. And all living things, this earth, which is very much alive, way more alive than we are. I think we should deeply think about it, because tonight, the forces of light and the forces of darkness go at it. Yeah, a lot of scholars, a lot of people ask, did Christ follow Moses' law? And we have clear signs from very early on that he didn't. A lot of vegans and a lot of meat eaters ask, did Christ eat meat? Things like that. Did he drink alcohol, such as wine? Because we remember in the Gospels, it tells us that Christ turned water into wine. Things like that. And very simple answers to that is, very early on, it tells us that Christ going into the temples and into the temple of Solomon, which was the main temple, which is the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem now, which actually, I'm pretty sure most of you know, but it's the three religions that come from the same Father that are so separated today have the most sacred places right there, which is the Wailing Wall, which is the remaining wall of Solomon's temple, Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which was where Christ was crucified, and Haram Asharif, which is where Muhammad ascended into heaven on a white horse with wings. It's in the Quran. We can read about it. So even and the Christians, the Arabs, the Jews of today, and that's a whole other story, have been fighting over that spot in Jerusalem for centuries, fighting, shedding blood. But again, early signs show us of Christ being a little kid and going into the temple. And again, not sitting in the temple and listening to the rabbis, but on the contrary, teaching and arguing with the rabbis. What does that tell you? The next account of the stoning of that one prostitute, or a woman that had committed adultery, and Christ stops everyone and says, the one that has never sinned should cast the first stone. Now, some people say it's Christ showing mercy, but Moses' law strictly says a woman that has committed adultery should be stoned to death. And we see these signs all over. In the secret book of John, it reveals that Christ secretly tells John that your God, your Father of Father and God of the Jews that they have been praying to, Jehovah, is the false God. It's the jealous God. It's the selfish God. Now, we all know the Creator is all loving, all merciful, all understanding. How could God the Creator, which the strongest vibration is based on, love, that has created this because of love, has given us these experiences because of love. Everything that we see and don't see created because of love and of love. How could God tell Abraham to go and sacrifice his son? Yeah, in Genesis it says Abraham took his son up to the mountain, and then God was like, whoa, chill. I was just testing you. Really? How could God tell us go out and kill and slaughter and cause pain and fear in order to eat? We do this with animals. And any vegan, any vegetarian is gonna feel all happy about themselves. I'm vegan, right? Like, oh yeah, man, I'm good. I don't kill any animals. How about plants? Just because we say plants don't have a brain, therefore they don't have a nervous system, therefore they can't feel. Really? Scientists have proven, let's not listen to these charlatan scientists. Well, because most of them are government funded, so the information that they would want to release is not released. The real studies, like noetic science and all of that, they won't release to the masses. But even that, they can't hide the fact that plants have their own communication system, meaning they have their own vibrational system that they send back and forth. I mean, if you grow a few seeds into the ground, they grow. They reach towards the sun. They reach towards life. They fertilize and so on. So they're alive. But yet, we have been so dumbed down, so heavy in our astral body, in our karmic weight, that our consciousness is so clouded that we don't even think about these things. Was gonna talk about some more secrets, but of course I get off topic, man. But whatever the information was channeling through me. I don't script this. I don't think too long about it. But I wanted to really commemorate this night. Before I leave, and there's a book out there, and it's a novel. It's called Gospel of Jesus. It's not a real gospel, but even though, I forgot to tell you, another gospel that has been hidden from us is the teaching of Jesus. Now, Christ himself did not write these, but one of the closest disciples was directly taking notations and teachings of Christ and their own experiences in spiritual development, because obviously the apostles and the disciples didn't wake up all spiritual one day and all sage and saint-like, right? So they had to go through rigorous experiences and training, so to speak. And all these experiences and training were written down and were noted. But of course, they have kept this from us too. But they can't keep the divinity from us. They can't keep our celestial nature from us. We are all sons and daughters. the creator. Now, as I was saying in this book, Gospel of Jesus, you can go and get it. It's actually a pretty entertaining book. The 40 days that Christ spent in the desert is portrayed in this book as 40 days spent out in the ocean. Now just imagine. I mean, it's so romantic, man. It's super romantic. It's imagine Christ being on a boat, and instead of being in the desert, he's in the ocean, a dark ocean full of fog, where the devil confronts him in the middle of the ocean, tests him. And again, to pick up on that moment when Christ was in the desert, hungry, void of water, the devil comes and tells him, look at that stone. You're the Son of God. Turn that stone into bread and eat it. Turn that stone into water and drink it. Christ, very firm and faithful in his mission, without any fear, without any temptation and distraction, tells the devil, one cannot live off of bread and wine alone, but off the Spirit of God. Of course, it's simplified in the Gospels. What does that mean, Spirit of God? There is such a life force and energy as prana. And if we weren't manipulated and so heavy in sin as we are, we could feed off this prana. We wouldn't even have to drink water, because we have been through so many reincarnations already, that we have been in the mineral kingdom already. We could tap into that already. We are supposed to be the higher form of life, the life form before reincarnating into gods and goddesses, as we're all meant to be. But again, let's forget all these little false questions that they impose on us, man. Again, did Christ laugh? Was he black? Was he Jewish? Did he live in Tibet? Was he buried in Kashmir? All these things. Let's remember, Christ came here to spread and give and teach and remind us of love.